So this little tree right here, I'm kind of torn because the article itself I really like. So what I thought I would do is just soften its importance a little bit, and maybe I'd be able to keep it in there. So I strengthened this orange ground cover in front of it and dipped into it. I'm sure you noticed this as well, that when I'd last sort of roughly quickly or painted things in, I left a dip here, and that of course echoes the peak, and that makes it quite strong. So I've humped the base of it, provided a little more solid grounding for it, and I thought, I'm just going to see if I can leave it in here and paint it in, and maybe it'll be acceptable. Maybe it not be acceptable, maybe it'll work well. Of course, that's what I'm actually hoping for. And I'm mixing, I've got a little bit of, what have I got in here? Ultramarine blue, yellow ochre, and a hint of burnt sienna. And that's about it, I guess. So I could grab my smaller knife, but, well, if you can use the biggest tool possible, that's always a good thing, right? Yeah, I went pretty green right there. I don't like that. Keep those colors warm. How's that? I think that could work. Come on. Yeah, I think that'll work. And I'm not worried too much about light and shade on this little tree. It's just, it'll be what it is. It's an evergreen. Even, in certain conditions, an evergreen really doesn't, it doesn't reflect a lot of light anywhere. So I'm not too concerned about that. That's just one of those things that we have the luxury of ignoring as a painter. As painters. But, yeah, with a bigger knife, you certainly want to be careful of your strokes. And as you can see, when you're making a painting that has different shaped foliage to the deciduous trunks, you have to change the shape of your strokes, right? Okay, I think that's going to work. I think that now that the value's been raised on it, I'm not too concerned about it sitting there anymore. In a minute I will sit back and have a look at it, but I believe we're doing the right thing. Okay, so I painted it in mid values. Now I'm going to put on the highlights. Adding a little white and a little yellow ochre to the thing. I just said I wasn't too worried about light and shade, but I wasn't. And that's because now that we have the shape painted in-ish, we can just dab a few light spots on there instead of, worrying about individual light and dark strokes. Let me just step back a moment here, have a look. Yeah, this is nowhere near as important anymore. Now it's an asset, not a liability. Alright, well, these are in. A little bit of light on them, a bit softer. I'm happy with how this turned out. I know that they're sort of the same height, but my plan has been all along actually to do something more with this, maybe put a little more design into it. I'm not sure yet how I'm going to manage this area, but it is going to change a little bit, so I'm not too worried about these being about the same height. But I wanted this form in here, you know. I just felt that there would be another sort of void there. I'm okay with one, although it is going to have some intensity of light. I'm going to bump up the chroma and value in various areas as we get closer to the end of the painting. Good so far. I think I'm just going to lay in a few more bits of rock to repeat this design in the foreground. We'll go from there. Well, you know, we have this bit of bedrock in the foreground. I'm going to give it a little bit of company. I don't want just a single mass of this gray and blue and what have you. Certainly not the pinnacle of which is directly below the most muscular feature in the painting. I would like to distract from that a little bit and lift this side, so I think we'll put, I've washed it in, well, washed in the outline more or less, a little more of this here, and I think something here as well. So let's just get to that. So we'll go with ultramarine blue. Just some raw umber. Oops, I think I was too generous with the blue here. Bit of titanium white. Okay, it's going to be in that neighborhood, I guess. We're not going to have any light directly on it. Oops, that's getting a bit strong maybe, but we'll see. We'll see. You sure like to have your first strokes be your strongest, and of course they are by nature, by definition, almost they're your strongest ones. But I guess what I'm saying is, you sure hate to have to remove or go over your first strokes. Every time you revisit that stroke, it gets a little bit weaker. Okay. That's a little on the symmetrical side. Alright, I think that's reasonably interesting. You know, and really the nature of it is bedrock. So maybe I shouldn't worry about fussing too much more in it. Maybe I should just say, yeah, I like that, and it works with this, you know. It does the job it's supposed to. Okay, let's wander over to the right hand lower side here. Okay. Don't want to go too blue just yet. I'm using my smaller knife at the moment. Simply because the rocks are smaller. I'm going for crisp edges though, or reasonably crisp edges at least. You know, I do a lot of what would you call them? Ghost strokes, where I'm not really applying paint. I'm just feeling the knife in my hand while I imagine that I'm putting a stroke on. And I know it looks a little flamboyant and it might look like I'm trying to conduct an orchestra. I'm not. It just is, what would you call it? Helping maybe the muscle memory in my hand as to how I'm going to go about applying the stroke. How's that? I think that might even do it, you know? We're on the edge of the painting. Don't know that I want anything to be more important than that. But I made a little bit of a mess and I'm going to clean that up right now. You know, I think I've mentioned this before. I'm keeping a brush handy with my darker colors to redefine or to re-emphasize some of the outlines. And it's not that important with some of the strokes, but with others I like it. I find that it is reasonably important. Okay, let me just take a little, I'm just going to back up a minute. I'm not sure. This is going up quite a bit. And I think that maybe I'll bring it down here, making it a little bit bigger. Making that rock a little more irregular, which would suit me just fine. Daring a little more light on it. Yeah. Take my brush and clean this edge up a little bit. Excuse me. Yeah. Okay, I think I'm just gonna decide that that is happiness on canvas. Alright, I'll take my camera now and I'll give you the square on shot. Sorry about the bumping and wriggling and the noise. But hopefully this helps you to see my thinking. More than likely, let's see, maybe I'll just do it right now. Yeah. Okay. If I have to play some more, I will. I just wanted to put a little bit of highlighting on that rock. Okay, that's it for the moment. Okay, I don't know how long this one is, but I'm going to publish today. I've had a few comments. I've had quite a few comments actually over the years, and it has been a few years, where you guys have suggested that you would like to see maybe longer videos or be included in more of each painting as I go. Due to my own setup here, I am somewhat limited, and my chair legs and my focus when I'm painting will cause me to knock the camera over and do some damage, and frankly it can be a real nuisance. A lot of the painting, the back of my head will be in the way, and I don't mind a little bit of that, but I'm just so far trying to keep the videos not too long. Yes, I suppose I could do more bits and splice them into longer videos, but that would mean that I would not publish as often. I'd upload videos maybe 3 or 4 times a week, as opposed to, well, I think mostly it's every day, if you average it out for the last number of months anyway. So if you have a comment either way, you can leave it in the comments. I'm not opposed to doing longer videos, but again, I would not upload as regularly then. Anyway, next we're gonna play in the foreground here, fill in a few areas, you know, and then up to our tree. Hope you enjoyed it. Talk to you soon.